So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 neighborhoods that are so secret, or really neighborhoods that no one really knows about, talks about, places that if you drive right by, you wouldn't pay any attention. And we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Santalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area. That includes Virginia Beach, and it goes through Williamsburg, and I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. So today I'm talking about 5 neighborhoods that are very secret, and I've tried to include different price ranges so people that are looking in different types in different parts of town will be able to get access to these types of neighborhoods. So you can keep tabs on this neighborhood or neighborhoods if a house that you want comes up on the market and you can snag it real quick. Now stay tuned for a bonus 6th neighborhood. It's so exclusive, so unique that I almost didn't want to put it on here because I didn't know if anyone would ever see a house on the market in here. So keep watching to the end of the video and I'll tell you all about that neighborhood too. So in Virginia Beach, going up to the north part of Virginia Beach, towards the beach. You've heard me talk about a lot of beach neighborhoods. One of the best, I think, is Chicks Beach. I love Sandbridge. I love Croatan for different reasons. But this one is overlooked so many times, which is just east of Chicks Beach, going across the Lesnar Bridge, which is right here. Drive across Shore Drive, and you'll see some roads that stick out off of Shore Drive. You've got a big park to the right, which is First Landing State Park. We'll talk about that in a minute. As you zoom in, this is Cape Story by the Sea. If you notice, and the neighborhood is right here. So if you look, you got Cape Story by the Sea. Is if you start here, draw a line all the way around, down near Rate Forest Street, around here, then go north. This big circle right here is it. What happens is, as you drive down Shore Drive, it just gets forgotten. You drive right by there and you see some houses, but there's not anything there that a person that, unless they live there, has a reason to go to. And so Cape Story by the Sea has some very distinct cool features, and also it's got great access to a lot of in-demand things. So this neighborhood, you'll see a lot of different types of houses in here, but in general, you'll find a lot of beach bungalows, like a lot of ranch or 2-story, a lot of just randomness here. You can get 1,200 square foot houses, you can get 3,000 square foot houses, all in between, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. It's all in here. And so that's one of the benefits. You can get a lot of different options. Now, another benefit is in the neighborhood, you got beach access from the neighborhood. Now, there are several access points. Just about, if not every street off of Cape Story by the Sea has a beach access, a specific access. You can walk from your street to the beach. Because of it's often hard to park near beach access, having a spot that you live in that you can walk from your house to the beach is so helpful. Now, if you notice, there are 2 different sides to this neighborhood in Cape Story by the Sea. There is the beach side, and then there's also the side to the south of Shore Drive. So the drawback here is that a lot of the neighborhood is on the south end of this neighborhood across from Shore Drive. So you'd have to walk across Shore Drive to get to the beach. Having the ability to park at your house to walk to the beach, even in those circumstances, is still a benefit. But on the south side of Cape Story by the Sea, you've got a benefit that the rest of the city does not have. I told you about First Landing State Park, which has so many trails, biking trails, how you can hike. I've run through there a lot. You can walk from there all the way into the beach. There's beach access as well in First Landing. You can literally walk or hike all the way from there, or bike all the way from there to the ocean front in the north end, closer to the eastern side of the ocean front. But the thing about being next to First Landing State Park that is so cool is that there is a trail. It's called the Cape Henry Trail that goes into First Landing State Park. You can walk right there, goes right through Cape Story by the Sea, the neighborhood. So even if you're on the south part of Cape Story by the Sea, you can see the trail right here. You can walk from your house with no major roads blocking you to the trail and just start walking and hiking, biking, whatever, and go into the trail. You're in the middle of a really big populated city, but at the same time, you're in this oasis, this park hiking oasis. And so being accessible to that from your house is amazing and so hard to find. Hey, now the prices are going to be in a wide range too. I've seen them in the 5s and 6s, especially off the beach. But most of them near the beach, especially, are going to be in the $700,000-800,000 to start. Really, as you go into close to the beach side, 800 and up is where it really gets more common. Over $1 million, especially on the water. $2-3 million is not unheard of on the beach side. On the south side, off of Shore Drive, you'll find some that are like down here going to be more like in the 6s and 7s, and you'll find more like bigger, newer houses that are going to be well over that too. But you can find some good affordable, relatively speaking, houses near the beach for pretty good prices. Another drawback to this neighborhood, though, is that the streets are kind of narrow and kind of like it feels kind of unkept. So you're close to the First Landing State Park, so it feels very naturey. So if you like that, this might be great for you. But otherwise, it can feel a bit like less manicured. It's just not that pristine neighborhood that you might expect in another part of town. And you see a mixture of age houses too. You'll see some built in the 60s. You'll see a lot built newer construction, built in like 5, 10, 20 years ago. It's a big mixture in here. And that's, I think, a benefit. I like the randomness of it. Some people don't like this, and that some people want the aesthetics of this a nicer, more manicured, kind of consistent neighborhood. That's not really what this is. So if you don't like that kind of randomness, this might not be the neighborhood for you too. Another benefit too is you can take North Great Neck Road. Plenty of restaurants down on North Great Neck Road, all the way down. One of the good ones is the Porch on Long Creek. There it is right there. Nice water views. But some other good ones, you've got Dockside and Bubba's, which is just south of Shore Drive. A lot of good ones along the water. I think if you go further all the way down south, you're about 15 minutes away from Hilltop, if not less, which is great because it's some of the most prime shopping anywhere in Virginia Beach. Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and all the typical big box stores, and some boutiques too. And then number 2 is a neighborhood, or 2 neighborhoods right next to each other, called Haven Heights, which is right here, and also Homestead, which is just next to that. These are very similar types of houses, but the difference here is that these are going to be a little bit higher in price, in the 330s through maybe 425. For the 3-bedroom houses are like 1,500 square feet. These are going to be like in the 350, 360 in that price range. You can find them at close to the 400. You can get them as under 350, but in general, you'll find in that balance of the mid 300s in general. And they're going to be similar to the ones in Westview Village. You'll find they're a little bit bigger and also more 2-bathroom houses. Still have a lot of garages and also brick, but these are a little bit newer, again, built in the 60s as opposed to the late 50s. And this is similar to Westview. Your access to other similar parts of town, near Providence Road, which takes you close to 64, Interstate 64, and then over towards the rest of Kempsville, closer to the town center. So about 15 minutes from there as well. So I like being close to Interstate 64 without having to hear the noise of 64, which some of the neighborhoods nearby, you can hear that. This is a spot where you don't hear it. You're far enough away that it's not a big deal. In addition to that, you're close to Woodstock Park. Woodstock Park is one of the most accessible, biggest in the area, the part of Virginia Beach. I love Woodstock Park. I spent so much time there as a kid. And so you could literally kind of walk from your neighborhood in either Haven Heights or Homestead over to Woodstock Park. The drawback here is that not many of these houses go on the market. And so while it's secret, it's also secret in multiple ways because the people that live there don't really want to move. So if you see one, it's good to jump on it because it will be hard to find a brick ranch style house like this in the same price range in most of the other places in Virginia Beach. Just like with Westview, most of these are going to be brick ranches. If you don't like brick ranches, keep watching. You'll see more that aren't later on. But these two are important because back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of houses were ranch style. This is not as popular now, but the reason why this is helpful is because it keeps the size of the house lower, and that's also why it keeps the prices lower, which is one of the reasons why it's hard to find newer houses for cheaper, because a lot of builders are just building bigger houses. It's hard to find those smaller single-family houses that are ranch style, and in this case, you can get a nice, well-built house and keep the price low. So I love Homestead and Haven Heights for this reason as well. Now that leads us to number 2, which is Westview Village. And you look on the map, Virginia Beach is pretty big. Looking on the western side, you'll see a couple of different roads. Interstate 64, which runs all the way up and down, north and south. This goes into Norfolk, into Chesapeake, and then right in the middle is the Virginia Beach part of 64, and also Indian River Road. This goes east and west right here, and also Military Highway, which is the long yellow one that runs up and down right here. This is another long major road. So right tucked in between there is this little section right here next to Lake Murray, which is called Westview Village. Okay, one of the reasons why I love Westview Village is because of the price. You can get a 3-bedroom house in here as low as about $300,000, $305,000, $310,000. And these are brick houses built in the late 50s into the early 60s. These are extremely well built. Now, the access, like I mentioned before, is great because you're close to a lot of major roads. You can get to, for example, downtown Norfolk in about 15 minutes. You can get to the beach in about 20 minutes. You can get to shopping in 5, 7, 8 minutes. You can get to a lot of places relatively quickly very convenient. And this is one of those neighborhoods where the houses are just far enough away from each other to where you don't feel like you're kind of crammed out, right? And so in the price range, you'll find other parts of town that have houses in this price range that feel like you're closed in, and feel like, you've got just barely a postage stamp. These, no, they're not huge, but they're just big enough to where you can kind of breathe just a little bit. So that's another thing. Another reason is going to be the fact that you can get 3 and sometimes even 4 bedrooms in here. And so the floor plans are pretty functional. They're not big though. And this is one of the drawbacks to being in Westview Village, is a lot of these houses are maybe 12, 13, 14, 1,500 square feet. And in some uncommon cases, you'll find some in the 16 and up. Usually it's because the garages are converted, which is one of the benefits to being in Westview Village, is these houses have garages. It's hard to find houses in the low 300 price range in Virginia Beach, brick, well built, that have garages. Another drawback to Westview Village though is a lot of these houses are either 1 bathroom or 1.5 baths. And that's one of the reasons why you can find houses in here close to 300,000 and sometimes even less than 300,000 because it's hard to find single family houses in Virginia Beach in this price range. And that's one of the big reasons why, is the amount of bathrooms. And so if you added a second bath, you might find these bump up to 320, 325 or more. I look for ways to find value. And if someone wants more house for the money, one of the things I suggest people to do is to look for spots that have houses with 1 or 1.5 baths. Because people often aren't willing to give up that full second bathroom. And I understand the reason why. And that could be a reason why you might not like this neighborhood, because some of these houses do only have 1 or 1.5 baths. But if you're okay with this, this can get you a cheaper price as well. So Westview Village is not only one of the most overlooked or secret neighborhoods in Virginia Beach, it's one of the best priced, I think, for what you get in all of the city. Now then, as you go further south from Cape Story by the Sea, down Great Neck, and I mentioned this area before, this is the number 4 neighborhood that I love this one, but it's a cool sneaky nook. For the price, I like it a lot. Is called Laurel Cove. And so Laurel Cove is right off of Great Neck Road. And so you see this little peninsula right here, right off of the western part of Great Neck. So you kind of zoom in out from the, get a bird's eye view, and then zoom right in there. So most of this peninsula is Laurel Cove, but it's right here off of Trent Lake Drive, in this circle around where this water is near Great Neck Lake. This area here all is Laurel Cove. A lot of the houses in here are going to be in the 5s and 6s price range. You're starting to see them in the 7s as well. So I like this area for the accessibility. You're off of Great Neck Road. No one really pays attention to the fact that you're there. They drive right on by a lot of cases. And these are going to be also 1 and 2 story houses. So these are going to be like more in the 2,000, 2,200 square feet. As you get into the higher sizes, like the 27 and 3,000 and up, you'll start seeing them now get into the 7s and 8s now. But a lot of the houses are going to be 24, 23, 2,200 square feet. And these are going to be in the upper 5s into the 6s. It's hard to find water access for the price, like in the over $1 million price range, but not too high. I like Laurel Cove here as well for that, though there aren't that many houses in Laurel Cove that are on water access. You also have a park inside the neighborhood called Laurel Cove Park, which I think is a nice little benefit. Not a huge park, but it's a kind of a nice benefit to being in the neighborhood. You can walk from your house to the park very easily and not have to go across traffic. Now, while these aren't super new, they're a little bit newer than other houses that we talked about earlier, but these are mostly in the 70s, and so you'll still see a lot of brick in here, and so I think that's still a benefit. And also, you're right across the street from a pretty helpful shopping area called Great Neck Square, which has a Harris Teeter in there. It's got some restaurants, Coastal Grill, which is a very popular restaurant just up the street in the same shopping center. So that leads me to number 5, which is one of my favorites really anywhere in Virginia Beach, which, going back further south into Kempsville, great bang for buck part of town. Zooming in closer to the town center area, down into right near Providence Road, which is a neighborhood called Bellamy Manor Estates. Zoom in, look on the map, you'll see right here, right around here, just north of Providence Road, back to Providence again, and Princess Anne Road. This area right in here is extremely hidden and so nice. You can find houses in here that are brick ranches that are maybe even in the 400s price range, 450, 1,800, 2,200 square feet. You can also get them in like the 25, 3,000 and up size range. and you're going to be paying more, but you're paying more like $550, $600, $625. Also, it's got a lot of trees. It is so well wooded. It feels like you're in like this big forest. And in addition to that, people have not been cutting the trees down, which has been nice too. So it's kept that nice canopy and just a well-established feel. And so if you want that feel, but also want to stay in that 5's price range, 6 price range, but also have a bigger house, this is one of the most opportune spots to buy. And these are also built in the 60s mostly. So you're going to find still a lot of brick. Big fan of that. And also you got a lot of pretty functional floor plans, but it's a mixture. I'd say one of the drawbacks to being in Bellamy Manor Estates is that you'll find some great options for floor plans, really functional, but also at the same time, some that are really weird. And so it's kind of a mixture. That's why you might find some that are just a kind of a wide array of prices. Like if you look at comps in the neighborhood, you'll find some that are like pretty high. You'll find some you're like, why did it get so low? A lot of times that's often because you might find a big house that just doesn't really work floor plan wise. I think that can be a drawback to some of the larger square footage houses in this neighborhood. And another drawback is with so many trees, you got so many leaves, and leaves just dump. And so cleaning gutters, how do you grow grass with so much shade sometimes? And that can be kind of frustrating. Now, another benefit to being in Bellamy Manor Estates is that you can literally walk from your neighborhood over up the street, cross Edwin over into to Kempsville Rec Center, which is one of the nicest, it's one of the newest redesigned, revamped rec centers in Virginia Beach, in which all of the rec centers in Virginia Beach have been renovated recently, but this is one of the newest ones, and I love this one. Being able to walk to the rec center is super helpful. You can pay just over $100 a person a year and have access to this rec center. Lots of great gym, running track, plenty of stuff inside, stuff for kids, and also like basketball court, pool, and then you can of course walk through the neighborhood as well. So great access to that from Bellamy Manor Estates. So now the bonus neighborhood number 6. So this neighborhood is called Sylvan Lake. If you know, you know, but very few people know what Sylvan Lake is all about. So where is this place? What is it? All that. So looking on the map, you see Great Neck. Mentioned Great Neck. You see the blue dot right there. This right here, Sandy Lake. Okay. Some say Sandy Lake, some will say Sylvan Lake. The neighborhood's called Sylvan Lake. The neighborhood around it is what I'm talking about right here. This street right here, a couple off right here. It's only 53 houses deep. There aren't many houses in here. So if you notice, this little dot, the Sandy Lake, there are so few lakes that have houses built on them. Anywhere in Virginia Beach, the styles of houses, which are very unique, very interesting, different, like the uniqueness of the neighborhood is so cool. So what happens when you drive into Sylvan Lake, the neighborhood is you see you get smacked in the face with pine trees. So it feels very kind of rural in this big pine oasis. But then you have houses that are on the water, the lake. It's a spring-fed lake. So you can swim, you can paddleboard, you can do anything basically without a motor. And that's allowed by the HOA on that lake. So it feels like you're on a retreat, but it's your house and it's in Great Neck, for goodness sakes. And what's cool too is the prices aren't crazy. Now again, tell me, hey Sam, like $600,000-$700,000 is kind of high. Not really for what you're getting. Also, being on the water side, the lake side, that's more closer to the 8 and 9 range mostly. But hey, again, it is so hard to find this. The house sizes are going to be mostly in the 20s, in the low 3,000 square foot range. You got events. They've got people that collaborate and build relationships together in the neighborhood. It's so tight knit in here. I've seen, I think, like 5 or 6 houses sell in this Sylvan Lake neighborhood in the last 3 years. It's just like one every 6 months at this point. So not very common. Now, if you have any more questions about Virginia Beach or want to relocate to Virginia Beach or the Hampton Roads area, that includes Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake through Williamsburg, let me know. I love doing this for people. I do it all the time. So reach out at any point. I have my contact information in the description. You can email me, call me, text me at any point, and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.